Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning into the North Main Minute. I'm Joshua Doby. I'm going to use a word that I think before about 6 months ago, practically nobody except economists and maybe some academics were using with any consistency, but you're probably going to recognize it based upon what's happened here in the last several weeks, and that's the word tariff. Now, tariffs, generally speaking, real quick 101, tariffs, generally speaking, are taxes on inbound goods, meaning imports from other countries into our country, this example, here in the U.S. What it's intended to do is that by making those imports more expensive, that folks will be inclined to buy domestic goods, which may be less expensive. Now, there are a whole lot of other variables that go into that mix. It's not that binary. It's not how practically that it works whenever those kinds of things are implemented, but there's a lot of noise out there right now about them. Certainly it's the topic of pretty much every news program that we're seeing. So now we understand the 101. Well, what are the practical realities of what tariffs can mean? First thing I want to say is nothing happens overnight. Yes, we're starting to see some folks in the system, vendors, retailers, who are starting to take advantage of the fact that tariffs are anticipated in some instances. We are starting to see a little bit of that. But in terms of practical reality, first of all, it takes a little while to make its way into the system. And that has to do also with the duration of the tariffs. Meaning if tariffs don't last for a particularly long time, they're not going to have a particularly significant impact on the system. We don't know how long they're going to last at this point, but it would be inappropriate to make too much of an assumption that they're going to last a year, years, or anything like that, because we simply don't have any evidence to suggest that. At this point, it appears that tariffs are being used as a negotiating tool, meaning not with the intent that they would be kept at certain levels in perpetuity, but rather as a means of bringing folks to the table. That being said, relative to what kind of impact points we want to keep mindful, it's possible that you're going to start to see some things that have higher expenses. The things that hit our radar screen here at North Main Financial quickly: grocery store experience, so perhaps for produce that's coming in from outside of the country, there's a possibility there. For electronics and even consumer durables, so think about things like our smartphones, automobiles. Those are the things that are really at top of line as far as the news cycle is concerned, that may be impacted by tariffs. Those costs in the short run may increase. Also, when we're looking at fueling of vehicles, so maybe gasoline, especially if we have gasoline imports coming in from other countries, which we do, especially Canada. That may be the case, that we have some higher expense when it comes to that experience as well. So those are the kinds of things that we're keeping on our radar screen, the kinds of things that we're keeping in mind. But just like with anything that has to do with fairly abrupt movement economically, we always encourage folks, don't think in straight lines in perpetuity. This may or may not take place with any significance, but we want to make sure that folks are aware of the reasons why it's happening and the impact points that you may see first as far as your day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month lives are concerned. But if you'd like to reach out to us at North Main Financial Group, talk about what's pulsating through the news pretty much 24 hours a day anymore, about what's going to happen, how it may impact your overall financial plan and portfolio, we'd love to hear from you. NorthMainFinancial.com.